Hello, everyone. Glad to be here at Open Source Summit. Thanks for sticking around for the good part at the end of the day. And today I'd like to talk to you about the OpenSearch project and our journey from fork and all the way to the Linux Foundation. I'm Dotan Horovits. I'm an evangelist for the OpenSearch project. I'm a senior developer advocate at the AWS open source team, primarily focused on OpenSearch and also on open source observability. Outside of AWS, I'm also a CNCF ambassador, and I also run the Open Observability Talks podcast for those who are interested in these topics. So if you're interested in talking about these parts and the cloud native and all of that, happy to talk about that after the talk. And let's talk about OpenSearch. So for those who are not familiar with OpenSearch, we're an Apache 2.0 licensed open source platform for search, analytics, and vector database with integrated tools for observability, for visualization, for security, and for AI-powered applications. It started as a fork of Elasticsearch 4 years ago, and last September, OpenSearch joined the Linux Foundation, and we launched the OpenSearch Software Foundation under the LF. That's been quite a ride, and today I'd like to share with you about this journey and also our learnings from it. And let's start with the beginning, the origins. As I mentioned, OpenSearch started as a fork of Elasticsearch back in early 2021 after Elasticsearch relicensed Elasticsearch and some other Elk Stack components into a non-open source license, SSPL. And users, understandably, still wanted an open source alternative. And that's the point where AWS, proud to say, stepped up and initiated the fork. This step in the journey was exciting and a lot of hard work. The complexity and the size of this fork was substantial. Just to give you a sense, 650 pull requests, over 56,000 files changed, and more than 4.5 million lines of code modified. This screenshot just gives you a taste of a bit of that. And also it was hardly a just hit the fork button job. The many source files had mixed licenses, open source alongside the proprietary XPack licenses and also proprietary assets that added to the challenge. Also, it's not just about the source code. We needed to set up the build pipeline. We need to spin up the opensearch.org domain and website, rebuild tech docs that are, by the way, not open source. Remember that. Get brand name logos, other brand assets with all the legal around that. It was the first time we'd done such a fork. So by July that year, we were able to deliver a feature-complete stable version 1.0. Getting that 1.x line off the ground that was stable, interoperable, and available in distribution that our community needed was the laser focus of 2021. And with that in place, in 2022, it was all about listening and learning. A lot of learning. And being perfectly honest, as we worked to invite and encourage community of users and contributors, 2022 was time we spent, and by we, I mean OpenSearch team, as well as our project sponsors at AWS, learning how to enable a community on our own. And that may come as a surprise, but keep in mind, AWS had not previously led an open source project with a scope and trajectory of OpenSearch. So we had to learn the best approach to gain trust, first of all, with internal teams inside AWS and also with external contributors and organizations. To support that, we leaned into our communications channels, Slack, forums, blog posts, and lots of RFCs, requests for comments. We highlighted what the community was doing to support the project, resharing their posts on social media, inviting community members, partners, solution providers to share what they do in the community with the project, which solutions they build on top of the project, whether it be on community calls, whether here in booths, in conferences, or other places. And note that for the OpenSearch project, AWS as a vendor is listed at the same level as any other partner of the project, whether it be on the website or at the booth, as you can see, or anywhere else. Moving into 2023, we recognized that while OpenSearch had achieved significant success, we were still working to rebuild trust that had been sacrificed because of that relicensing of Elasticsearch back in 2021, because ultimately users didn't want to switch one benevolent dictator with potentially another. And that's a legitimate concern, so that we will address very soon, as you can see. 2023 also had a major technological tide that was pivotal for OpenSearch. The rise of generative AI placed OpenSearch at the forefront with its essentially vector database capabilities and investment. So there was great community drive to invest in vector search, semantic search, and Gen AI use cases. What followed was a cultural transformation within AWS, OpenSearch, and in our relationship with our community, focused on deeper innovations into this search domain that I talked about. So there were challenges, of course, at first, but the AWS team and the community at large embraced the change, and together we pushed for more governance and trust building. We established a leadership committee made up of diverse stakeholders to promote open and transparent governance. And we saw the result. I'm really glad to share OpenSearch left 2023 with significant strides. You can see here in the search and Gen AI innovation, we got significant advancements in performance, in hybrid search, vector databases, and so on. We saw contributions from outside AWS rising with maintainers from over 25 different organizations. The user forum traffic grew. The OpenSearch.org reached over 1 million monthly visitors, and also a slew of new contributors joining the effort, while longtime contributors deepened their commitment. And this momentum carried into 2024, when we reached critical mass for the OpenSearch community. We completed the journey to truly open source OpenSearch when we transitioned the project into the Linux Foundation. That was actually announced at Open Source Summit Europe last year. So being here at Open Source Summit North America is closing a circle. And we also founded the OpenSearch Software Foundation to bring open governance to the project and foster collaboration. This move reinforced our dedication to maintaining OpenSearch as an open source and neutral project for the long term. And the response from the community was really overwhelming. Today, the OpenSearch Software Foundation, as you can see here, has 14 member organizations, big names, Atlassian, Canonical, DataStax, DigitalOcean, and many more. You can see here the logos. And since the launch of the OpenSearch Software Foundation in September, we've established a governing board with leaders from AWS, Arian, SAP, and Uber. And our technical steering committee is already driving key technology decisions with committee members from SAP, ByteDance, Oracle, Slack, Salesforce, and others. And with more engaged community than ever before, innovation soared, which brings us right to 2025, to today. Looking at the first half of the year, we really see the pace of innovation increasing across the project, which leads to the major milestone that I'm really happy to share with you. Just last month, in May, we released 3.0. So let's give a clap, a round of applause. We have some maintainers here at the audience, so great job there. And the first major release in 3 years. That's a major milestone. And actually now, only a month later, we're already releasing 3.1. So this just goes to show the accelerated pace of innovation in this project. And really, 3.0 brings a lot of community-led innovation. You see some here, like performance improvements, cloud-native architecture, vector database, Gen AI, observability, and much more. And I want to say, much of that actually includes important features with other open source projects like OpenTelemetry, Lucene, Kafka, Apache Arrow, Apache Calcite, and others. So really very nice to see the synergy with other open source projects. So it's been an amazing journey, as I shared with you, but in many ways it feels like we're at the beginning of a new chapter. As someone said to me very nicely, like before joining the Linux Foundation, it was prehistoric period, and now we're in the making the history. History starts for OpenSearch. We want to bring in more maintainers from more organizations. We want to simplify contributions. We want to enable community members to share knowledge and help shape the way forward. And we'd love to have you join us on this journey. Reach out to me after the talk. We have a booth here for OpenSearch throughout these days. Or just go online to the project. You have the QR code here, where you have all the links in one code, the website, the forums, the user groups that we have around the world, conferences, and many more. Happy to talk to you also after the chat. I'm Dotan Horovits, and thank you very much for listening.